Good evening, folks. Hi, it's the Joyster, offering up a bonus Monday night episode and offering from the Joyster. So, as you're all communicating all the things that bring you joy, I wanted to give you a little insight into what makes me tick. And a lot of you may know that I do, for the most part, I play by my own rules. And I've lived my life accordingly for a really long time. And one of the things that brings me the most joy is there was a time in my life where I worked for US Air as a baggage handler. And what was cool about that job is it gave me a standby ticket to anywhere. And because of that, I called myself Stand By Me. And that was... instead of calling myself the Joyster, I called myself Stand By Me. And I was exploring a very spiritual walk. And on that walk, I read a few books by people who just reading their words changed my life. And one of the books is actually called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And here it is. It's by a guy who's no longer with us, named Wayne Dyer. I don't know if any of you know of Wayne Dyer. If you don't, he's worth a look. So anyway, one time how it worked when I worked for US Air is I could fly anywhere so long as there was a standby seat available. And so there were times that I knew I was going to be traveling. I actually worked this job for 18 weeks and made 18 trips. It's almost like a book in and of itself. And one time I heard that there was a seminar by Wayne Dyer and friends called something like You Can Do It. And so in advance of hearing about this seminar, I was watching a video that Wayne Dyer had created about how his son came home from school and he was unpacking his bags and, showing his dad all the stuff, all the things. And his dad was looking at all of his shirts and he said, "Hey, son, which is your favorite shirt?" And he looked through his bag and then he pulled out what he knew was his favorite shirt. And then Wayne's like, "I want you to give me that one. I want you to give me that shirt." And he was like, "No, Dad, it's my favorite shirt. You can have any of the others. Just, let me keep my favorite shirt." And he's like, "No, I want you to give me that one." And so eventually the son just said, "Okay, fine, Dad, you can have it." And then Wayne's like, "But you don't want to give it to me." And so Wayne Dyer proceeded to wear his son's favorite shirt day in, day out, until one day his son said, "Okay, Dad, I want you to have this shirt." And he said, "Great." And he took it off and put it away somewhere. And so it was a lesson about non-attachment. And it was a really beautiful lesson. And I really internalized that story. And so I planted the seed in my head and I said, "You know what? I think I need to find a way to give Wayne Dyer my favorite shirt." So as soon as I plant that seed in my head, I learn that he's coming to New York City some Sunday, Monday, whatever, some weekend where I'm not on the schedule at the airport, so I can go travel. So I literally just, flew to New York City, signed up for this thing, went to this thing with just giving Wayne Dyer my favorite shirt in mind. And what happened was so much more than that. So basically, I showed up to this thing, made amazing, amazing connections. It was at Jacob Javits Center in good old Manhattan. And then during the break between, after Wayne spoke, I thought, now's my chance. And what I noticed was there was like no security guard protecting me from walking backstage. So I just took it upon myself to walk up the stairs to the stage and then walked behind the curtain. And lo and behold, there's Wayne Dyer autographing books for the children's event he's about to go to. And so we had this great conversation, and I gave him my favorite shirt, and he thanked me for it. And then his person handler, the person that was getting him from one thing to the next, somewhat abruptly interrupted our interaction and basically said, "Gotta go." And I turned to Wayne and I said, "I'm so sorry." And he looks me square in the eye. We had just met. And he said, "Eric, don't ever apologize for doing something you're called to do." And I'm like, "Thank you for that." And so I share that story because, reading this book, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, it's pretty darn amazing. And one of the things about it that constantly brings me joy is that this book is 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching as translated by Wayne Dyer, and then there's sort of an interpretation, and then there's an action step. So like the action step is called Do the Tao Now. And so there was a time in my life when I was creating an earlier set of videos called Morning is Broken and I Don't Want to Fix It. And what I would do is I would read a verse and then meditate on it and then read poetry by Sufi poets, specifically Hafiz, the poet. And that's how I started every day for 50 days in a row. And it brought me so much joy because I was able to appreciate the simple things and slow down enough to witness how amazing the smallest of the small things are. And so I know here we are ramping up as we enter into second module tomorrow, module 2. Who even knows what it is? I guess that'll be the surprise for tomorrow. Anyway, what brings me joy are like the small things, the little coincidences that are no longer coincidences because we don't believe that they exist. And just being able to share that with a group of people that are going in the same direction. So the answer to what brings me joy is you guys, all of you. You bring me so much joy. And being able to see you guys, you all, this past weekend, and whoever I get to see in person or whoever I get to see on Zoom on Tuesday, you bring me so much joy. Even when we're in the thick of all that we're doing, just know that looking at each and every one of you brings me so much joy. I love you. Okay, bye.